Hard pace
Good
car.
afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, as we are here for testing session number 2 at Daytona. It's a beautiful day. The sun is out rather than the cloudy first testing session, but Florida weather is actually doing really good for once. And I'm here joined with 3 co-commentators that are going to be doing a little bit of both for testing session and co-commentary. And welcome by James Qualls, Kev Shearer, and Kyle Mathews. How are you guys doing there?
Doing
all
good.
right.
Happy to be here. Always fun to co-commentate.
Well, I know it's a
I'm doing
testing session.
alright.
Which is good there. But nonetheless, it's good to see you guys here as we see some of the cars rolling out on track. A lot of news since the first testing session heading over to the second one. There's a lot of news to take over. So hopefully we'll have a good testing session in this one. And let's go down to the track and show you what has happened so far. First car out on track, and I believe it was Brett Pritchard. Yes, it was. For Japanese domestic market racing there in that blue shell Toyota right there, car number 49. Pritchard, not bad of a run, but fell into the top 20 later on in the stages. But Pritchard made a not bad impact in his first testing session. The newly formed Japanese domestic market racing, co-owned by Connor Meyer there, which you'll see later on in a bit there. Very surprising to see what the Toyotas did there. They're out there just trying to get the experience in there, and then once the 500 comes around and the season, I can't wait to see what these guys are going to have in mind there. I just cannot wait. So it's going to be really interesting to see what that team can do, and I'm looking forward to it a lot. And look at who's finally out. Sega Keith Motorsports, both Trent Dunham and Paul Barber, who's a rookie for the team, as well as one other driver, which we'll get to in just a minute. But Trent Dunham, the veteran, the lone veteran of the team, who's been a part of every season except for the first one, I believe. Oh, no, never mind. He has been a part of all 5 seasons. But Trent Dunham running the Sega All-Stars Dodge Hellcat right there. Yes, the Dodge Hellcat. They were one of 2 teams we've been waiting for. And these are very nice Dodges painted by yours truly, Kyle Keith there. And unbelievable to see there. And speaking of Sega Keith, the car behind, Paul Barber, which you'll see right here. This is the Air Asia Dodge Hellcat Charger. Paul Barber there, a rookie this season. We're going to see what this young one can do as you see the other rookie that's with the team, Zach Flickinger on the inside right there. But Paul Barber, he had a really, really good Outback Series last season in Season 5 of that one there. And I'll tell you what, he can make a strong impact in this one. And Kyle, I'll tell you something, you were battling with him really hard for that championship in that series.
Oh yeah, it's quite the battle. It's quite the battle there, indeed.
Ironic enough, in front is the 09 Mellow Yellow Chevrolet of Kyle Mathews, who last season was a part of the 14 team for Stewart Haas Racing. Left the team, eventually got into his familiar 09 paint scheme with Mellow Yellow, Kings Island, Banshee, as I just got
the Beast
for a second, and the
Kings
Beast.
Island and the Beast, Banshee and the Beast.
I would talk about that. But Kyle Mathews, though, the 09 car, very unfamiliar there. We've never seen the 09 happen before in the Cup Series until now, so maybe a new number could bring in good luck. And Kyle, I'll tell you what, rather interesting decision to go with S3 with your good friends and teammates there, which we'll get to in just a minute, but do you think you made the right move?
Absolutely. As you mentioned, my 2 teammates, Jessica Shelton, Charles Sanford, 2 of my best friends, so that's really cool to be on a team with them. And they've had a lot of success in this series, too, so I think all 3 of us are going to have a really good season.
As you see the car number 70 right there, James Qualls, who almost got into Dylan Pote right there, and car number 70. Now, originally, in the first testing session, he was in the part of the number 20 for Joe Gibbs. Well, then he decided, you know what, because of this testing session, we still got plenty of time before the 500, we may have to switch. So he decided he's going to switch out of Toyota for the 20 and form his own team of Johanna Long Motorsports in the Ford Travel Motor Coach Chevrolet, the Johanna Long Chevrolet of James Qualls. Now, Qualls, last season, really has not had that mojo since Season 2 when he managed to win at Phoenix and just hasn't been on that momentum ever since. But Qualls, you know, you've noticed that Johnny Gardner, when he made his move to the 77, look how well he did. Do you think it could be the same momentum for you?
I sure hope so. And by the way, it's Johanna Atwood Motorsports. By the way, referring to my only 2 Busch Series regulars, Busch Nationwide Xfinity regulars I liked in my career. Joanna Long and Casey Atwood. But Anyway, I really hope so. The 70 cars has brought me some luck. In some ways, it's brought me not so much luck, but but yeah, you mentioned with Johnny Gardner in the 77 car. That car, sometimes change is good for in some ways, but we'll see if that's true or not.
Well, best of luck to both you guys there, and hopefully everything goes well throughout the season. I will tell you that for a fact. Kyle Miller in car number 43. Now, this was unbelievable. He is actually announcing that he is also leaving with one other driver, which we will get to in just a minute. But Kyle Miller, he has only been a part of this series and then for one season in the Insomniac Elite Series that's hosted by William Duncan in ISCC, which I hope I pronounced correctly there. But nonetheless, though, Kyle Miller, a big shocker right here. Unbelievably safe to say, last season, he had the biggest breakout season that he's ever had in his career. And sadly enough, too, he's going to retire after this season. But Kyle Miller, though, managed to pick up 2 wins in his career. And I'll tell you what, I mean, you guys can agree as well. He made a good comeback last season. After winning 2 races and making the chase and nearly winning it at one point.
Yeah, he gave that 43 car a really good run. It's always good to see the 43 run well if you're a longtime NASCAR fan. Everybody knows how iconic that number is. So,
no question about it.
Very iconic indeed.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens to Kyle Miller. Could his final farewell end up with not only one more win, but could it be that elusive championship he's been long looking for? Dylan Pote in other news about retiring news. He could be on the verge of retirement after this season. I'm not 100% sure entirely, but there's been rumors saying that Dylan Pote will be leaving at the end of the season. Right now in his Aquafina Chevrolet. Pote has mentioned in the past about this for at least 2 seasons, but really, he's still been able to keep going, and it really surprised me. He's just the old guy in the series that just, I may retire, but nope, keeps on going, and you know what? He kind of reminds me of the Energizer battery at times. Just keeps going and going, and, I can say this to both Qualls and to Mathews, but Qualls, you've mentioned it before. You've been with Pote through the beginning, the end, and everything, hell and back, and you've seen what he has done on and off the track.
I can say this because he's been in my series every season though too. Because Poteet's. I think of Poteet as like one of those names, along with right up there with like Seth, Michael Norman, Trent. Those
Dylan
kind of
himself
legends.
too.
Dylan Young, those legends as well. I think there's such a thing as legends in NRSL. I think that's your bunch right there. That's just to name a few of them, not quite all of them, but to name a few of them.
Absolutely, and Pote's pretty much done everything you can accomplish and offline, to my knowledge. I'm sure he's won multiple championships. I'm sure he's won a Daytona 500 or 2 in his career. So
definitely, even looks like the Dylan versus Dylan rivalry at 2 times in ironic enough, and still we haven't seen that third battle. Who knows? In another series, we could see that happen, but you never know.
Maybe this season in your series, who knows?
Even though I wish I was in my own series. Let's see a bunch of cars coming down pit road, so we'll continue on forward as Pote right now 8th on the board. We're going to try to see if we get the first car out of pit road that's going on the track right now. We got Kev Shearer, ironic enough, our third co-commentator at this point, running the 77 Ollie's Outlet yellow Dodge Charger there. Now, last testing session we mentioned, he took over for Stephanie Gardner for this season. Still a big shocker right there. Nonetheless, Johnny Gardner, he said he's not afraid to make big moves, and, well, he pulled the bullet right there and just took it. And, Kev, I'll tell you something. Did you ever think you were ever going to be in the NRSL one day until now?
Quite honestly, no, I did not. I would like to thank my good friend Johnny Gardner for this great opportunity to run in the NRSL. He's been a good friend of mine throughout my NR career, and just thankful for all the opportunities that he's given me.
Right now for Gardner Motorsports, Kev is the second fastest right now, one of, I believe, 6 rookies in the field now currently.
So Kev's been pretty impressive in the series that I've seen him in. He just made his debut in my Dr. Pepper Cup series here a few races back and finished in the top 5 in his debut race. And recently he picked up a victory over in the Castro TTX Cup series, as James will know about over there. So,
So who knows? Maybe the Shearer's luck here could really pull out right here. Speaking of odds, here's another one. the
Also,
9 of Zach Rogers here, running the Dodge Chrysler Dodge Charger there. Zach Rogers really kind of had a mediocre first testing session, but nonetheless here, the NRSL member of Bulldog Motorsports there. Really, this is good to see the 9 come back, though. The last time the 9 had been driven, ironic enough, was Kyle Mathews' teammate Jessica Sheldon. She drove the number 9 Napa and Airstream Machine Chevrolet, and it's really good to see the 9 back, though. It's been at least 2 seasons, but we're back with it, though, and it feels so good for that. So good to see the 9 come back, and we'll see. Right now, he's not been the fastest on the board. He's 34th with no draft, but hopefully that will change.
I will like to comment on that too, though. I think it's great you got like many different types of Dodges. You know, with Rogers is kind of like a 2013-14 Charger, and then you got we told you as you mentioned with the Trent's Sega Motorsports team, you got the 2015 Charger, 2016 Chargers, I should say too, and whoa, got a battle right there going on.
That was a little close call. That was Ian Dunn in the 32, the Outer Wall Chevrolet, and the Racing Pieces Chevrolet of Charles Sanford there. Sanford currently 9th on the board. Sanford, though, this is his first season with Chevrolet. Last season, he was in the infamous Mitsubishi Lancer. All the international manufacturers went to victory lane, except for Sanford's Mitsubishi. He came very close, and he almost had it if only Michael Norman didn't get that win to Chicagoland on the last lap. Charles Sanford, though, running in the Chevrolet. We'll see what can happen. And you were going to say something, Kyle? I'm sorry. I cut you off.
I can tell you right now, he was wanting to put that Mitsubishi Lancer in victory lane really, really bad last season. What track was that? Chicagoland, where he just lost it there at the end. I mean, that really, he was not happy about that. So
no, I can tell.
Looking to rebound big time this season, and I think he can.
Definitely, we'll see what can happen with him though. He had been really strong last season in the S3 Motorsports. He's got 2 teammates. We mentioned Kyle Mathews. We'll get to the other one in just a minute. In front of him, we'll do Ian Dunn right here in the Outer Wall Chevrolet for Twinix Racing. Now, Twinix Racing, remember how they had 2 changes, right? They had the change to Seth Cole, and then they had the change to Alex May. Well, the 2 non-changers were Dylan Pote and Ian Dutta. Dutta is still yet to win with Twinix Racing, but ever since he left the 6 car to join Twinix Racing, he just hadn't got a win. He's the only driver of Twinix Racing still without a win. Don't worry, he's not the Danica of this series, but keep in mind that Dutta does have some good experience in the Cup Series, though. He still has the same sponsors like he has last season, though.
I was just about to say, that's really surprising that Dutta has yet to go to victory lane. As you mentioned, a lot of experience, in NR offline, so...
Yeah, and keep in mind, he's only won 2 races, what was it, I believe season 3 when he was a part of the team. It was season 3 or season 2, but I believe it was season 3, I want to say. It was season 2, my apologies there. The brain's somewhat active today, it's somewhat not. Cody Lamas in the red vest Chevrolet Lowe's there. Very nice paint scheme that the 48 team is in. Cody Lamas, though, 28th on the board right now, not doing well. And I feel like Cody is one of those guys who's, one of those, legends there. But right now, he's lost the mojo. He really has not gotten through a lot. Throughout the Cup Series, he's been the guy that just can't get through the accident or just had to screw someone. Cody hopefully will be there to change it up. And, we even said it before 2 seasons ago in Atlanta, Mason Powers, who stole the victory from Jessica Sheldon, all thanks to that man right there. And still, to this day, Sheldon's got a little something for Lamas. And, you never know what could happen with Cody. And could it be where he finally actually wins and gets into the chase, probably?
If there's anybody that's got bad luck in NR 2003, I think for sure it's definitely Cody Lamas. Jimmy Johnson colors are no Jimmy Johnson colors. Yeah, it's bad luck Lamas. Yeah, but
thanks so much for that one.
But I think a lot of us really hope that Lamas' luck does turn around, though, because like you said, it seems like it's always he never runs good, or he's always a unfortunate victim of circumstance.
Definitely.
Maybe NR just hates Jimmy Johnson. That's probably what it is.
Probably. Oh my. Jackie Tang in car 81 here in the Triad Toyota right here. Tang, I'll tell you something. It's just, he's been one of those drivers that lost the mojo also last season, and he needs it badly this season. He won 2 races last season in the debut for the 81 team. He has not won last season, and he is desperate this season, so... Do you think time is running out for the 81? I mean, you never know with him. We're going to move on ahead there. Now, the Dodge Hellcat, we'll talk about that in just a minute there. Anthony Ritchie in car number 5, the Kellogg's Chevrolet right there, the Tony the Tiger one.
Love that paint scheme.
Which,
Oh,
that
yeah.
is awesome. A little bit of an old school look today. Kind of shocker that Ritchie and the Hendrick Motorsports team went with that scheme. But give credit when it's due, though. Ritchie just wanted to say, you know what? I'm just going to throw it out there, and we'll see how it goes. Anthony Ritchie in that 5 car, though, they really need a good season badly. Still yet to win in the Cup Series. They have just been absolutely struggling hardcore. They just can find no luck whatsoever with this 5 team.
That is the very scheme, by the way. You're wondering that Terry Labonte went to victory lane with it for the final time in his career at Darlington in 2003.
Crazy enough to do. And then we got a
Pretty
big
sad that
gaggle
we're
of cars
calling
right
2003 the
now,
old school.
Johnny Gardner running his brand new Dodge Dart Wave energy drink right here. Now, originally he had 3 paint schemes lined up, but a 4th one was there, and we got it just now. And would you believe it, now the Wave energy drink is a part of the 82 team. Now, I'll tell you something about Gardner. Gardner, ever since he's made the change here, a lot of good, things have been happening. They've been getting good positive feedback. Right now, he's 5th on the board, and we'll see one of his 2 schemes later on in the 3rd testing session. But Gardner, very impressive looking right now.
He definitely is.
Jessica Shelton, there she is, the last of the F3 teammates right here in the 02 Tampa Bay Race Chevrolet. Is because they are in Florida. They said, why not? We'll throw out this scheme for this testing session. Not good so far for her. She is 20th on the board as they're dealing with Michael Walton right now. But Jessica Shelton, though, as 4 cars are heading down pit road there, she's just keeping on the success and momentum. Ever since she went to that 02 last season, a lot of good things have happened. So she just needs to work on that chase mode.
I'm about to say, if I remember correctly, she led the point standings both in this series and over in the Outback Series heading into the chase. And
was
unfortunately,
one of 4 drivers, I believe, one of 3 rather, to be in both chases too. So that's something hard enough to believe too.
Unfortunately, the chase just didn't treat her well, but hopefully that can change this season.
Now here is interesting. Dodge Hellcat making its debut, and Sage Motorsports finally, and I mean finally, long-awaited wait is finally over for them. They are here in testing session number 2. Paul Barber, the rookie part of the team who is making his Cup debut this season. He had a killer Outback season. I mean, killer. Was just absolutely so good. He managed to win a race, and, what happens with him in Outback happens, and I hope he does come back. But you know what? Barber had an impressive rookie showing in his first season in the Outback Series. Now, I got to ask this to you guys. Do you think Barber has what it takes to do well in the Cup Series?
I think he does for sure. And of course I say that about a lot of drivers and a lot of people who goes into NR. I think I really think he's got what it takes. That's all I can say.
Definitely. I mean, he had a lot of momentum in Outback last season. I think he can carry it into this season for Cup.
Move on over.
I agree with those 2.
Absolutely. Kev is just being here and saying I agree. Kev Shearer, everyone. Seth Cole in car number 80 in the Winterfresh Chevrolet. One of his new schemes for the 80 team here. Winterfresh, part of the sponsorship for Tweenix Racing. Now, this may have been the honest decision, but Tweenix say, why not? You may as well go for it. Seth Cole here and Alex May went from the 52 and the 30 to the 80 and the 18, but they still have Dylan Poteet in Dutta. Seth right now 20th on the board with a 45.847 with their best lap. And you mentioned Qualls before, way before we were talking about it earlier about the legends in here. This is definitely one of those guys that is definitely
without question. Without question.
And
it's
hard to believe.
It's just weird to see Seth Cole in anything but a 52. I mean, you mentioned he was in the 30 last season, but 80. I mean, that's out of nowhere. It seems like.
Yeah,
but we'll see what that can.
Same with the 13 cars.
Yeah, he's been in the 52 and the 13, but you are right, though. It is odd to see him in the 80 out of all, cars and all that. So we'll see what happens with Seth, though. Hopefully something new comes aboard the team and maybe some good news success.
I like
Austin
that sponsor.
Mongold, the only one for Austin Mean Gold Racing. Mongold here, just one of the few slowest guys on the board right here. Mongold still awaiting his teammates, Zachary Fitzwater and Caleb Harris to be a part of the team and up on the track. The other one, DJ Curtis, we are also waiting on as well. But Mongold here trying to do what he can in each testing session and hopefully not blink out of style there. For those who are online, they get the reference. Ha ha ha. So Mongold here, we'll see what happens with him. He's still in car number
Almost
60 with his schemes.
almost a collision there with the 2 car, and I think that's the 6 in front of them. They were pretty slow when they caught him, but luckily that nothing happened there.
Now Tanner Sullivan has also announced that he is leaving at the end of the season from the Cup Series, running his last season with the number 2 SKF Ford. Tanner Sullivan here, I'll tell you something. Pretty impressive right now in this testing session, but once the season begins, then we'll really see the true colors of Tanner Sullivan. Now, he was the last driver to make... Oh, we got some smoke right here on turn 3. And, they're wrecking up here. That's Devin Becker, Zach Flickinger, and Levi McIntyre with trouble. Trouble for those 3. And I believe the 5 also involved, as well with Keith Batson in the 38 who missed pit road. Back to what I was saying, though, Tanner Sullivan, nonetheless, though, an interesting resume, though, in his first season. He made the chase barely, but he had, up and down momentum in the chase and then fell apart. He tried to get one last push in the end and just ran out of time way too far back toward the end of the season and just ultimately got 3rd place in the standings. But very solid outing for Tanner Sullivan, nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
And there is the 6th car of William Duncan running the UPS Ford right there. Now, remember Ian Dunn that used to drive that car and William Duncan took over? Well, William Duncan, it just hasn't been well for him there. Blue Thunder Fan Racing Team there, I'll tell you something, just nothing good going on with that 6th car last season. Could it be, though, that this season he could actually get himself out of that slump? I mean, you never know. As we are actually running out of time a little bit there. We've covered about, half the drivers, so we're going to go a little bit quicker than usual here. So we're going to go up to the front here. Anthony McCurry in car number 61, the Rolex Audi RS4. McCurry here in the Audi, who went to victory lane last season. Very impressive run at 8-pole. I'll tell you something. It was good to see the Audi finally get the win, which made its debut in Season 2. We're in Season 5. Its 3rd season. Hard enough to believe it's been there that long. Can McCurry, though, get into the chase? He has been long overdue. And there we see behind the Audi, the BMW M3, Chris Washer, the Season 4 champion. The only 2-time champion you find in the Cup Series. Now, Chris Washer, there is a big, big rumor that he could be leaving at the end of this season. If he pulls a 3rd championship, that has never been seen before in this series. I'll be flat out shocked. I really will be. This guy's been so good in this series ever since being a part in his rookie season in the 5. Had an okay season the first season being the champion as the 5 car. And now in the 35 here, he's just been on a roll here. This guy's just been unbelievable. But if Chris Washer retires, do you think this makes him a legitimate good driver in the Aero 2003 world?
Definitely. I mean, he's, like you said, he's won 2 championships in this series. The only person to ever do that. And Washer's solid in just about every series he participates in.
Second on the all-time wins list here, also keep in mind as well. Angel Navarro in car number 25. The good news for Navarro, he's got a teammate, which we'll get to in just a minute. The bad news, his other teammate, not here at the moment. Running his DeWalt XR Toyota Camry right there, the Matt Kenseth colors there. Angel Navarro, 10th fastest on the board right there. Not bad so far for Navarro, as we're going to put our ticker up right here, right now. Navarro, hopefully he'll get DJ Kurtz in the final testing session before the final practice kicks in. I'll tell you something, though. Navarro, he's hoping DJ get it, but he's very thankful that he has a teammate right now. So that's a good sight right there. Kyle Miller in car number 43 there. Right now, 21st fastest on the board. Probably a breakout season last season. Could this season, being his final season, be good for him? We'll find out as Devin Becker's back out on the track. Mason Powers, who is currently your all-time wins leader right now in the state water heaters Chevrolet right there for Stewart Haas Racing. Well, I'll tell you something, though. They're down to Mason Powers, and that's it. Clint Spillman, who was with the team, moved over to the 4. And from what I'm aware of, I believe he's with Stewart Haas. I could be wrong on that, though. But for what I'm aware of, this is the only driver I think that's a part of this team And Mason right now, who's second on the board, still showing impressive runs, but last season was definitely not like 2 seasons ago where he won 4 races in that season. But he did win last season to get himself in the all-time wins board ahead of Chris Washer and Clint Spillman. The question is this, though. Once Chris Washer, if he does retire, do you think he will still be the all-time wins leader?
I'm not really sure. That really remains to be seen. I mean, you can never really count out Washer or Powers in this series, as you've seen. So it'll be interesting, nonetheless.
Still yet to see the explode too.
I agree with you. You know, Chris has been very, very solid, as you said, in every series he's been in. From what I've had of him in my series, though, he's been solid in mine as well. So, but yeah, that's gonna be a bit of a surprise. You know, really.
Definitely. Levi McIntyre in Carbon 19, the Aris Toyota Camry, Aris, the best way I say Aris, but don't judge me.
Yeah.
In car number 19, they're the second slowest on the board right there. Not a good run for Levi. He hasn't been able to get in the pack and draft with the other cars there, but McIntyre though had basically a breakout season. He managed to win the 100th NRSL Cup race, throwback indeed, which was at Atlanta. Did very solid, won that race, and then he won the All-Star race at Coca-Cola. So you could say Levi, he was ready for this series, and he's showing good momentum, but right now, not as much. So we'll see what he can do there. JT Brennan, car number 22, the Shell Pennzoil Ford with Bryant's name on the windshield there. Bryant currently 12th fastest on the board right now. He's going to get the suck up from the 4-car team of Zach Rogers, Kyle Miller, Chris Washer, and Mason Powers on the seat. Washer and Powers right there.
And you mentioned that the Levi McIntyre hasn't had any drafting help. He's going to get it here in a minute.
So that will definitely help him out one bit. See what Brian can do, though, this season. He had a not bad rookie season, despite being involved in a few wrecks there. Now, there's Clint Spillman running his now new number 4 Forge Lake Chevrolet, what was originally the number 10 Dan Patrick car for Stuart Haas, now with the 14. Now, unsure what it's going to be right there. He says he's in the decision whether to be still with Stuart Haas, because it's technically with the 4 in the Chevrolet, or rather the fact that he is going to be a part of his own team, Clint Spillman Incorporated. Still undecided at the moment, but you never know what can happen. Although he's showing very impressive right now, 4th on the board for car number 4. And like I said, though, we're trying to move quickly because we are losing some time here. There's Kev Shearer in car number 77. We've documented him. Dylan Poteen, car 31, the Aquafina Chevrolet. There's Kyle Keith in the Dodge Hellcat cars. That's there, the second of the 4, as Michael Walton not playing nice with Poteet or Shearer right there. But Kyle Keith, 17th on the board right there, is the Dodge Hellcat. And I'll tell you something, Keith, though, had an average first testing session right now, and the average again, but you never know. They're getting ready for the 500. Said Keith Motorsports, they've won the last 2 Daytona 500s with yours truly right there, what we're seeing right there, and Jordan Davis. So, you never know what can happen. Could Said Keith pull 3 in a row with him, Dunham, Barber, or Flickinger? Or could we see someone new for the first time in the Cup Series? You never know. And also, could we actually see a Dodge Hellcat go to victory lane? Speaking of Japanese domestic market racing, there is Connor Meyer, car number 51, the Hankook Toyota right there. Connor Meyer, 32nd on the board. Not a good outing, although his teammate is first on the board, and he has not looked back. A 45.384 for Brett Pritchard. So solid run for that 49. However, the 51, not in good measure. He really needs Kyle Keith and the other 3 behind him to help him out, though. Coming up here, there's Seth Cole, James Qualls, Cody Lamas. There is Alex May, the other car for Twin X Racing, as we got the smoke again. There's another crash, and real quickly, whoa! Cars are diving down. I believe Navarro got involved, as well as Stephen Pollard III. Not good right there. Alex May, though, in car number 18. 7th on the board for car number 18 there. What used to be the 18 Toyota for Caleb Harris is now the 18 Chevrolet for Alex May for Twin X Racing. In front of him is a rookie right there, which we'll get to in just a minute. But Alex May, though, not a bad outing there for that 18 car. Hopefully new changes are coming to board. I almost just said Josh Buff and BG. RJ Bishop in car number 91. The Mountain Dew Baja Blast Chevrolet right there for Balkan Motorsports. Currently 18th on the board. Not a bad run, but, he's wishing for a little better right there. He's getting ready for his first NRSL start, as well with Kev Shearer and the others who are making their debuts. So we'll see what the Baja Blast and Dogecoin Chevrolet can do for the 91 team. Stephen Pollard the third in the Volkswagen Jetta right there, the SKF Jetta. I'll tell you something, Pollard the third, 32nd on the board right now. Not a good outing right there, but Pollard the third, if he can get that win for Volkswagen, something big could happen. Now, we're going to get to Michael Norman in just a minute because we are running a little bit low on time. We'll document his status in just a minute there. There's Trent Dunn, the third of the Hellcat cars right there, the second All-Stars one. There's Sky Commons, your Season 3 NRSL Universal Orlando Cup Series champion. Sky Commons, who's just been basically quiet around the Hendrick Motorsports team. Although they lost a teammate to the 88 there, which used to be PJ Williams. Now with still Anthony Ritchie and Cody Lamas, still Hendrick Motorsports being the same as usual. With Ian Dunn right now, currently 16th on the boards. Sky Commons, though, still without a win. Hard enough to believe as a champion, has not won a race, but his consistency, though, he needs to get it going for this season. There's Sullivan, William Duncan there. There's Charles Sanford, the Reese's Pizza Chevrolet right there. Barber. Let's see who else we haven't documented. There's Keith Batson, the Palomino Ford there, who got involved in that first crash there, is now back up on track. The Ford there is doing not too bad, but, could do a little bit better. 25th on the board. I'll tell you something. This guy has just not had it in the series, and I feel bad. And Qualls, you and Shearer both have seen Batson, and, even though he's in the newer cars, he's really good, better in the older cars. It's safe to say.
Oh, definitely. Batson, of course, is I always say he's the diehard Ford campaigner in our competition because it's like with him it's Ford or nothing. You know what I'm saying? But in all seriousness though, Batson really is. When he's hot, and when he's cold, he's cold. It's really that's just it with him, And I really do hope he has a good season this season though.
Same here. And here's one of the new people out on track that got his car in, Alex Ferranti in car number 29. For those who have never heard of this driver, he's a part of Trent the Hedgie's Sega Cup Series, and any of Trent the Hedgie Series that he's been a part of nonetheless. The Castrol GTX Toyota Camry for Brony Racing there. Him,
Love
Curtis,
that scheme.
And Navarro, the captain of the team, are going to be having really interesting Toyotas, but Alex Ferranti, we have been waiting for this guy for quite a while. He made the announcement on NRSL Race Hub. He's going to be a part of the team and part of the NRSL. Boy, a lot of shock, but a lot of excitement for the community and all that. They were very, very excited. And now he's finally making his dream come true. Although 20th on the board right now, he could do a little bit better, but he probably gets some good experience there. So we got about 2 minutes remaining right here. And I'm trying to see. There's Devin Becker, still unsure about his future at the 39 team, or if he's going to be moving to a different number. Zach Beckinger, the last of the 4 Dodge Hellcats we have not talked about there. In the Brent Dodge Hellcat Charger there. 39th on the board, the slowest, just has not gotten anything well in that 8 car. And it's good to see Alsay and Keith, though, out on the track, which is good. Now, Michael Walton, car number 99, the Clareton Ford for Roush. News with him, though, so far so good. Still remaining in the 99 team, as usual. But one thing for certain about Walton, though, is just you never know what season he could have. 2 seasons ago, he was dead last in the points, and he made the chase last season. He managed to get a win, and he got himself into the chase, especially with his great consistency. This season, it's just up in the air. You never know what can happen with him. Hopefully, he keeps that momentum going. So we will see what shall happen with car number 99. Now, as I'm double-checking here through the rest of the field here, and I think we may have covered everyone, we do want to mention this news for last because this was a big one here that happened a little bit after the first testing session. So we're talking about this the rest of the time. Michael Norman, you can see car number 3, the Dark Knight Rises Chevrolet right there for car number 3. One thing for certain, we had some shocking news to report there that he will be retiring at the end of this season as well. 4 other series he's a part of. So basically the farewell tour for Michael Norman is beginning now. So hard enough to believe that this is happening. But it's safe to say, this guy, no matter for what he's done, especially for what he tried to do at Daytona, he's a legend, hands down.
Absolutely, and he's in that number 3 car, and when it comes to NR 2003, you see the number 3. The first name comes to mind is Michael Norman. He's had that number for as long as I've been around in the community, so probably longer than that. So
Exactly. I mean, if there's such a thing as a legend in NR 2003, as I mentioned before, Michael Norman, as I said earlier, though, he got like people like him, Seth, as I said, Trent, Dylan, both Dylans for that fact, Young and Poteet. And I mean those guys. I mean, yeah, those are legends in our if at all, if there's such a thing. And Norman has got a historic history on the plate tracks at Daytona and Talladega. He's won the 500 before. You can't go wrong picking him to win in anything. In fact,
I agree with those two.
So the time has expired here, and Brett Pritchard, the fastest on the board, but with Michael Norman, though, 31st on the board, definitely not a good run for him right there, but you never know. He's still got the season to go. His home track at Daytona, he said he would love to win it no matter what, whether it's the 500 or the 400, but I guarantee he'd really want to win the 500 super, super badly, him or Llama, so that would be something right there. Those are the home heroes for that one there. So the time will expire, as you're going to see qualifying come in just a bit, which we're not going to do and all that, but let's get you to the full results here. And rather interesting to say, though, Brett Pritchard, the rookie, how about him? Basically, nearly a tenth faster than Mason Powers' lap, a 45.384. That's pretty impressive nonetheless, though. So, Japanese domestic market racing there, that's going to be a really interesting team. That really is going to be. So we'll go through the list here. Mason Powers second. Kev Shearer, that's a surprise because he did not have a good first testing session. The second session, he ended up third on that board. Very solid outing for the 77 team. Clint Spillman.
Okay, I'll take it.
Clint Spillman, fourth fastest. Good run for the four after the change happened. Johnny Gardner in the fifth position with that Dodge start there. Sixth was Tanner Sullivan. Seventh, Alex May. Eighth, Kyle Mathews on the board. How about the 09 team? The 45.643. He'll end up.
It's nice to see. I've had some decent luck on the super speedways for some odd reason. So look, we got some speed in this series, in this session.
Ninth was Anthony McCurry, and how about completing the top 10? James Qualls, the 45.688. Not a bad run for Qualls in that 70 car. The 20, he really didn't have a good first testing session. Now this testing session, he had a really good one there.
Good. Shows you the number and manufacturers change. Like I said, Johanna and I are looking pretty good in practice so far.
All three co-commentators in the top 10. I know what people are going to be saying about this.
Triggered.
I can imagine.
Oh, my. We'll look at some other notables here. Dylan Pote ended up 12th on the board there. Charles Sanford, 14th. William Duckett, 15th. Sky Commons and Kyle Miller, 16th and 17th. Kyle Keith, Second Keith Motorsports, was the fastest of that team. Will come away 18th. RJ Bishop, 19th. Alex Ferranti in his first testing session will end up 20th. Chris Washer, champion, will end up 23rd. Zach Rogers will end up 27th. Jessica Sheldon ended up 29th. Paul Barber ended up in 30th. St. Keith, the other three cars didn't have good runs there. Steve Potter, the third, ended up 32nd. Connor Meyer, 33rd. Trent Dunn, the other St. Keith car, 35th. And Zach Flickinger, the slowest of the team, at 39th. And David McIntyre, not a good run for him at 37th. And Mongol, 38th. So, nonetheless, guys, that is it for testing session numero 2. After everything, around race 15, we will have our Outback testing session that will take place, our one and only Xfinity testing session. But nonetheless, though, what a testing session this was for this one. So thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, be sure to give it a like. If you enjoy it, comment your thoughts. This race is car part of the NRSL by hitting that subscribe button. I want to thank Kyle, Kev, and Qualls for coming on in, voicing their opinions, and not getting triggered at the same time. Thank you guys for coming on in.
No problem.
No probs.
Oh my god, if you're offended, fuck you, JK. I love you guys no matter what.
Matthews Young, 2016. We're gonna make America ballsy again.
Oh my god. Oh, that's gonna be interesting.
Can we be your campaign managers?
So until then, guys, we'll see you guys later. And until then, until the Outback testing session, and of course, when the next race comes up, race 13, or until the next video, I will see you guys later. Until then, peace.